amazing way of setting you up for something bigger.
You gotta go through the fire. I don't care what it is. You gotta. Ah, I don't know. It's all.
It just got personal.
You gotta go through the fire, man. No, because that's something I realized in like the last year. Just
Oh
started
yeah, I
and
know.
praying about and doing. I was just like you look at what you pray for and the things you want, and
Yeah,
then you see all the things that's going around, and it makes no sense. But then you kind of sit down and you reflect, and you're like, it actually does make sense.
it makes sense.
You
You
like
just
you
can't
look at
connect
it.
the dots real
Yeah.
time. You got to connect the dots when you look back. But when you're in it,
Oh, oh, when you in it,
yeah, that's
hey,
right.
man, I feel like Mike Tyson throwing haymakers, and they
A
can,
few Mike Tysons. You
huh?
you look to your left. There's a Mike Tyson. You look to your right. There's a Mike
Oh yeah,
Tyson.
and not the Mike Tyson that was fighting Jake Paul.
This
Mike
is
Tyson
this
that
is
was fighting
Tyson
kids.
89. This is 90.
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you.
I don't know what
Yeah,
just. Oh,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
so when I see an athlete, like an Olympian or somebody, and let's say the world gets something like Sha'Carri Richardson,
Oh yeah,
it became like a people are making it black and white thing, a racist thing, and
yeah.
that could have been what it is, right? I wasn't getting into that. My viewpoint on it, my viewpoint on it was, I said, if she's able to live in the pain the right way, because it's gonna be real uncomfortable. Like the world just kind of turned on you. That hurts. So I'm like, if she's able to like overcome this, which I think she was. I said she's gonna be a beast because now she's gonna realize what it is, like how people really are, what the game is, and she's not gonna go too high no more. She's not gonna be too low. She's gonna be right here where everybody's saying they love her. It's not gonna phase her no more because she know that's not true anyway. She knows because and everyone goes through it that goes through some type of success in that regard. But you can't. It's like they say. I think E.T. may have said it or Ink may have said it, but no, it's Ink. He said you don't turn 21 until you're 21. Like
Yeah.
that's the reality of it. Like you can't. Certain things are gonna come when they come. So like even for little James, you can say stuff to him. I can say stuff to him, but there's a season when it's gonna take its own path and it's gonna manifest for him. So with Shakiri, I'm like, look, she need this cut. Like she needs that. Like she's gonna need that. So now when those other moments come about, and let's say she wins a race by 0.001, and somebody try to say, oh, because this or that happened. I'm like, no, she won that race 5 years ago when y'all hurt her feelings and the world turned against her, and she had to go through that and she had to rebuild herself. That's when she won that race. So that's why I usually like if an athlete going through something, or even people in life for that matter, you just gotta like I guess you be there for them a little bit, but you just gotta let them know like you can swim. You're gonna swim, and if you swim, if you able to save yourself, you're gonna be a whole different person on the other side of it. Like, they're not gonna be able to stop you. And Shakiri went on a run last year. I think it was last year, right? She went on like a
The
run.
Olympics. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we were. Remember, we were driving down to D.C. that night when all that stuff was going on with her getting removed from the Olympic squad,
yeah,
and we were talking about the folks around her and the opportunity that not that she lost, but I guess when you put in perspective, that was just a setup. God has this amazing way of setting you up for something bigger because isn't it wild that this Olympics she became the poster child of track and field. Like she went from the US committees removing her from the race to this Olympics. She was on every commercial, every interview because she turned her whole life. She did a complete 180. And that's a God has an amazing way of setting you up for something bigger.
you gotta go through the fire. I don't care what it is. You gotta. Ah, I don't know. It's all.
It just got personal.
You gotta go through the fire, man. No, because that's something I realized in like the last year. Just
Oh
started
yeah, I
and
know.
praying about and doing. I was just like you look at what you pray for and the things you want, and
Yeah,
then you see all the things that's going around, and it makes no sense. But then you kind of sit down and you reflect, and you're like, it actually does make sense.
it makes sense.
You
You
like you
just
just
can't connect the dots real
yeah.
time. You got to connect the dots when you look back. But when you're in it,
Oh. Oh, when you in it,
yeah, that's
hey
right.
man, I feel like Mike Tyson throwing haymakers and they
A
can
few Mike Tysons.
huh?
You look to your left. There's a Mike Tyson. You look to your right. There's a Mike
Oh, yeah.
Tyson.
And not the Mike Tyson that was fighting Jake Paul.
this
Mike
is
Tyson
this
that
is
was fighting
Tyson
here.
80 89. This is
Yeah.
90 Tyson. Yeah,
The one that ain't had no shoes on, I mean, no socks, biting people's ears.
yeah,
That
yeah, for sure.
that Mike Tyson throwing punches.
But
Not
you
the one
know,
that was fighting Jake Paul.
you remember all that. You know, you have your winning season, and then you remember you had your winning season, right? So you have your winning season,
Yeah,
and then you have your complicated season. We just call it complicated.
yeah.
But you learn about yourself in the complications. Because
Okay.
when you're winning, like, and you make money, and you do all that other stuff, you make your money, and you feel good, and you deposit in the bank, and you feel good. Like I did that, made that happen. But you really learn about yourself when you're facing your Tysons.
Yeah. Bernard Hackett, you would know about Bernard Hackett. He a trainer. His son named Jamelle Hackett. His son a boxer from DC. Actually, I think he's 9-1. Just lost his fight, but he can go though. But Bernard was like,
Or the
was
executioner, Bernard, or somebody else?
nah, his name Bernard Hackett.
Oh,
Um,
Hackett. I thought you said Hopkins. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hackett. He had said, um, it was like a comparison. He was talking about the good and bad days. He was like, oh, he was like the good days keep you coming back. The bad days are when you learn your lessons. Paraphrasing. That's essentially what he said. Because they talking about boxing, saying yeah, you're gonna have your good days, and those days are the ones that's gonna keep you motivated. But the bad days is where you really grow. Like those are the days you really grow. The good days is just those are days that inspire you. Like, oh, I could do this. But in between those, it's those days where all the lessons come in, and then you got to process those, you got to figure those out, and stuff like that. And then you'll have a good day, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it goes the lesson, and you just gotta, and that's where you kind of grow. But like I said, everybody I can't think of an athlete, a person in general who hasn't like just. You can look at Kobe. He lost in '08, I think it was, to the Celtics.
Yeah, blew out
That-
his Achilles. Like I mean, yeah, they all got. It's the toll you pay.
Yeah,
Like
hey,
it's the toll you pay. Everybody's got to pay the toll. Everybody's got to pay the toll.
just don't know the price you're gonna
You
pay.
just gotta know how much the toll is. Matt, like if you drive up to a toll, you know it's like $4, $5.
Yeah.
Life's toll, you drive up, it's a question mark. And you show up
Oh,
there, you're I'm $2,000. Like it's like,
and look, if you want to keep that if you want to keep that analogy going on, yeah,
yeah,
you can put in your GPS where you want to go. It don't tell you the time. It
yeah,
don't tell you how many detours. It don't tell you if there's
yeah,
something
man.
on a roadblock ahead. It don't tell you that bridge collapsed. You gotta go that way.
You gotta-
It don't tell, it
yeah,
don't
you're
tell you
right.
that tolls. It don't tell you Easy Pass don't work, so you gonna get a letter in the mail. It don't tell you none of that.
And we know about those letters.
It don't tell you none of that. But here's the thing.
Yeah,
I tell somebody to just go though because you gotta get. I think you get to the point where I think the best thing you could do
huh.
is just be so blind and ignorant into going into something sometimes that you get so far that you can't turn back. Like I think that's the best. Like that's probably the best spot to be in because like all of the stuff you see doesn't look like you about to hit that goal, but you didn't came too far anyway. Where you
You're in it now.
you like, well, if I'm gonna lose right now, I'd rather lose in the end and then be like, man, I tried. Then to be like, I went this far and then I turned back around. So sometimes you just gotta jump in and be like, just keep swinging, swinging, swinging until the moment you be like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. But then you look back at how far you came and you like, "Ah, that's too far though. You like, I might as well just keep going at this point. So yeah, I
Man,
think
I was working with somebody in the business, right? And they did something they did something bad. And I remember getting a call that like basically like 15% or something like that of the business that I had built over that year was gonna go away because of what they did. And I remember sitting there, I'm doing the math on the money, I'm
yeah,
doing like all this stuff, right?
yeah,
And I'm on this phone and I'm having this out of body experience. Like I'm listening to this conversation and I feel like I'm watching myself listen to this conversation.
Yeah.
And and it's one thing when you do something. It's another thing when somebody else does something that affects you,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to live with the outcome of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get off that phone call and I just sit. Like sometimes you ever had that moment where you just gotta just sit, like you just can't even move. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, there's nothing to do. Like when you realize that I just gotta do it, like I just gotta go. Like I remember sitting in that chair thinking, I don't even have time to think about this right now. Because I've got to go replace and build upon what was just lost. Like I got to go, first I got to go get that back. And then I got to go build upon it. And me sitting in this chair right now is not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And it was like Tyson, 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 Tyson. But you know what's crazy? I got back what I need to get back in way shorter period of time than I thought I would.
Why? How?
Because there was no other choice. Like, like financially, it was gonna be okay, but I just couldn't take an L like that, you know? Like I couldn't watch part of what I worked so hard for
Mm-hmm.
to see it be gone and then not know when it's coming back. Cause that's like, in other words, something that took years to do. I'm like, I gotta get this back in like 6 months, but it took like 3 years to do it. I did in like 8 months, but I learned that I could do it in 8 months. You know, like how you need something to show you that you can, like you think you're working, but you're not really working. You think you're at a level, but you're really not. You think you're at a 6, but you're really at a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Until life puts you in a position when you're at a -4, and then you got to get to a 3, and then you're like, I don't have time to be sitting around thinking about this. I don't have time to be working the way I used to work. I mean, I was doing 8 to faint. I mean, you were. This probably happened when you were like 17 or something like that. You're probably like 17. And I mean, I was just gone. I mean, I don't know if you remember those times when I was just hitting the road. You'd be, matter of fact, you'd say, oh, where you going to next? Where you going to next? Where you going to next? Because I was just,
I mean, I didn't know the backstory, but I do remember. Like, I just thought you just like some hard working person. I was like, "Oh, crazy. I don't know, what do you got going?" I was like, I don't know, like it's a little psycho, a little bit about it. He got a little mom mentality going on over there. Just back out and just, I didn't put a context to it. I just thought that's how you just operate. Like, some people like that, like they lock in on something. So I didn't know it was like a story. I just thought you just locked in because you.
oh, we were locked in, Jamel. We were locked in. We had certain things. We had certain things to do, and we weren't trying to have that happen. So yeah. But every time I left the house, every time I got on a plane, every time I got in a car, hitting the road, going up, coming back, all this other stuff. I'm just like, you want to have something, you don't want to have something that's like right there. You want to have something that's so big that if it gets attacked or if part of it gets affected, it doesn't affect everything. You know, like if you whatever the business is, it's got to be so. Like if you need, let's say you need to make $1 million to pay your employees
Mm-hmm.
for your business, right? So you got to pay your employees $1 million. Okay, so if you're gonna, if your employee payroll is $1 million, you got to have, let's say most people be like you got to have like 1 million, 2 million, or maybe 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that's still like on the edge because you never know. Like you never know what could happen. Like Party City just got, you heard about Party City. They just closed Party
Yeah.
City down.
Yeah.
Every store, all those people walked in. They didn't even know they were being let go. They had no idea they were being let go. They had no warning, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Party City was a $1 billion company.
Mm-hmm.
So you say to yourself, okay, if a $1 billion company can just go out like that,
Mm-hmm.
what is the average person has to be more than prepared. Like it can't be like I need 1 million to pay these people, so I'm going to make 2. It's like I need 1 million to pay these people. I need to have 30.
Yeah.
I need that 50 because I don't know what's coming. And that's what I learned from that experience. Like things were good, but they weren't rock solid good. Like there weren't layers. You need layers.
You think that never happened? You think you'd have learned that lesson though, or you think you needed that to happen?
Oh, I needed that to happen. I just believe that God is always, there's like things that are happening and God is just always working, you know? Though I think the whole purpose of God in when it comes to things like that is one, you learn that you can do a lot, but you have to lean on God in order to make it happen. Because some of the things that I was able to do in that window, I couldn't understand how I did it. Like it clearly wasn't just me doing it. Like I was accomplishing things that I never ever thought I could ever accomplish. But I was so zoned in on I had to do it. It had to be God. I think the problem comes. I think the bigger the problem, it has to be a problem that's so big. There's no way you can figure it out. And that's where God steps in
Mm.
and says, "Yeah, you're not supposed to figure it out. I already have the answer, but until you lean on me, you're going to be just stuck in the problem, like, spinning your tires in mud. But when you realize that God's already figured out the problem long before you ever had the problem, and
So
yeah,
oh, my fault. I was about to say it's like were you saying something like in terms of leaning? You talking about leaning on God though? What was that more like you saying like I surrender and you just start working hard? Like what was that though? Like how did you?
man, let me tell you something. I literally walked out the house,
Hmm.
hand to God. I walked out the house. I looked up at the sky. I said, "I need you. I don't. I have no idea how I'm going to figure this out, but I need you. All I know is I need you."
You said
And
EP? Oh, go ahead. My fault.
so I said, "All I know is I need you, and I need you to figure this out, and I'm willing to do the work." And that was it. But it's so crazy because it's like when I stood out there and I looked up at the sky and I just looked at everything, I had this sense of calm,
Hmm.
and it was like I don't know, like a power up. Like when you download new software on your phone, it
Hmm.
just looks better. It seems like they knew all your problems, that you were irritated about something, and so it just works better.
Hmm.
I just became so efficient, man, and I just sat there. I was like, man, I was so inefficient for so long, but I didn't know it because I thought I was working at a certain speed, but now that I had to get something done, and because it was like I put a time limit on it that was serious and all this, I realized how much more I could do. But let's be clear. I was doing the possible, but God did the impossible. I'm clear about that.
Hmm. Nah, nah, that's real. I think the thing. Well, I'm not gonna say. Well, the thing that I've been realizing lately is I feel like God has slowed me down, right? And slowed me down though in terms of highlighting areas that I never paid attention to that needed to
Like
be paid
what?
to. So, like for instance, one of the things. So I was talking to Daryl, who's my accountant and stuff. Me and him was talking, and it had just hit me the other day where just in like business, I was like, like I go for it. I'm like I go for it, but what I never thought about was, yeah, you're like, boom, you're gonna punch your fist through the wall, and you keep your head down, and you're gonna go for it. I said, however, there's times when you could have got there much faster, or quicker, or just better all overall if this person did that person did this part, that person did this part, or you brought this person for this part. And what I realized for me was I didn't actually do that. So it caused a lot of like gaps, unnecessary. Well, I ain't gonna say unnecessary because I think everything happens for a reason. Because of course, if these are the things that, let's say you ask for, say, hey, God, I want to make $100 million in real estate or something like that. he knows what you need to do to make $100 million in real estate.
Right.
You don't necessarily know what you need to do. So what I mean is, it felt like he put a mirror in front of me, and then I started to see like all of the flaws of like just certain things that I was like, you have to work on that. Where it wasn't necessarily a lot of it. For some people, you have to work on. Like some people don't work hard enough. Like they just don't work hard enough. Where for me that wasn't the problem. It wasn't like it was like nah, it ain't that you don't work hard enough. It's that this little thing over here that you're not paying attention to, that a little thing that you don't care about, that's a big thing. And here's why it's a big thing, because it's little right there. But when I really paid attention to it, I was like, yeah, that thing right there showed up in your life right here. It showed up in your life right there. It showed up in your life right there. So it was little over here, and you weren't paying attention. But when I looked at something else, I was like, oh, that's that same trait. Oh, that's the same trait. Oh man. Oh, that's the same trait. And then you start to pay attention now. Like I start paying attention. I said, okay. And then you look at the next thing that you need to work on. And then some of it is so it's it's not necessarily difficult, but it's like you're so shackled up almost because you've done certain things a certain way for so long. So it could be even something as simple as, let's say, someone who's always like they do everything by themselves, right? They do everything. They don't tag nobody in. For somebody, it's like simple, like, hey, just ask James to do this. But for that person, that may feel like a mountain. Like a mountain. It's like it feel like how they talk about the elephant that they train
With the
that,
road.
that with the rope. It's like that. Where it's like, bro, it's just the rope. Like we gotta work on it. We gotta, because that's not. And I realized that about me with a bunch of things where I realized there were certain things with the rope. Where I'm like, okay, we gotta work on. This is how you get to that 100 million over there. It ain't the work ethic. Well, you gotta have that, but that's not what you need to focus. You got this string right here. It's a string right here. It's a string right here, and there's compound interest of years that have built that string, or that string is there. We need to now. We gotta work on the small things. It's the small things that's gonna get you there. So that's what I mean when I say God put the mirror in front of me. It's like you put the mirror on all the small things. So I had to go work on that, and we're still working on that in a lot of different things.
So, you
It is.
remember you remember when you started working out with Brendan and he had you do the littlest exercises that just you couldn't believe how hard it was, and
Sure.
but like you throw some dumbbells in your arm, and but he'd give you like this little rubber band.
Yeah,
You'd be sore as all get out.
yeah.
It's
Coach
true.
Troy the same way. I used to say, but Coach Troy, I used to say we used to work out in a box. What I mean by a box, like especially when I was working out with him in Florida. Let's say we did like two workouts. First part would be like speed or something like that. That's 45 minutes. Then I didn't leave a 3x3 area, and I'm drenched. The littlest muscles hurt. You don't even know what this muscle is. Why does it hurt? Why am I doing this? What's going on? I didn't leave a box this big. Matter of fact, we were working on speed, and I didn't even run. I didn't run, and I got faster. Right? I didn't run. I promise. I can't even look at. I didn't run. We worked on speed for a whole week. I didn't run one time the whole week, and I got faster on Friday, some kind of way. I didn't run. I stayed in a box. All we was doing was all types of leg holds. All these little muscles are hurting, but
Uh,
the crazy part is all the little muscle he was working on was all the muscles for running. It's like Mr. Miyagi. It was
yeah,
literally
that
wax.
wax on.
It was literally like that. You was working on muscles that you never even knew about. I didn't run for 5 days straight. We did no running. Didn't run a lick.
That wild.
Came Friday. I don't know if this ever happened to you before, but if you get faster, you feel it because it's like your body isn't used to it yet. So you can't. It's like you moving faster than you normally. Like you could feel that you
Right.
moving. You're like, oh, I'm moving.
Yeah.
I didn't run, but you was like, and I was joking with Coach Troy about that. I was like, man, I ain't leave a box this whole week. I get faster. And he started laughing because that's really how it was. Like you was in this little box, then moved the entire week, and you got fast by the end of that week, man. Shout out to Jason Demers. He was a hockey player, smoker. We raised a smoker.
So imagine if your coach, if Coach Troy's doing that, imagine what God's doing inside that box.
There we go. God got you in the box. You ain't doing that. You in that box with God, and he
It
got
just
money.
you just sweating it out, and but that's the life box. You're sitting in there, and you may not even feel like you're even moving forward, but you're being worked on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who you about to share this with. Somebody need that. I don't know who. Oh, bless somebody. But they going. That's a good one. Life box. I didn't even think of it all the way like that because you brought it back around. But yeah, it's the God working on you in the box. You don't even. You're not sprinting. The
You
fast.
know, you get nowhere.
You're not running. No, I didn't run. James left. I didn't run. I didn't jog. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't run or jog. We was working on like your toe muscles, like all your toe. Do you know you got? You know your? Have you ever worked on your toe muscles?
No, I never worked on my toe muscles.
Next time you go to the gym with Danny or one of them, have the, you. All right. So you can do this now. Put your foot on the ground. This is how
Yeah.
you know. This is how crazy your toe muscles is. And try to one toe at a time lift that one up individually. You'll see how hard it is. You'll see exactly how hard it lift. You can start with your big toe. Your big toe gonna be the easiest one, but look how hard it is to lift a toe up by itself. Back.
I'm
Going
trying it
up.
right now.
It's hard. It's not because you isolating a specific muscle that it's not as strong as you probably think it is.
It's not strong at all, Jamel, because I never thought about it before.
Exactly. That's how we started the workouts. You
Right.
do stuff like that with your toes, lifting your big toe up, like up and down 10 times, then you lift the other four. So now you're trying to lift the four without the big toe. The big toe got to
Yeah,
stay.
I've just been trying it. It doesn't. It's not working.
That's because so you have to get to build the muscles. So that's going to build the muscles in your arch, in your foot too. And then you do the ones where you squeeze the ground with all your toes and all the other. I don't even know what's called the other toes. You squeeze the ground with that, and it builds like your arch. So when I say we was working on all the littlest muscles that you wouldn't even think about, all of those little muscles were like vital because power and strength comes from the ground first. So you have to have that strength in your feet to generate the power. But then when it comes up, you got to be able to have the strength in your glute medius to be able to bend in certain positions. Because then if you can't get all the way down, you don't generate all the power. So it was like that type of serious. Like Coach Troy is a mad scientist. It's that type of seriousness. And not to mention, you didn't leave a box. You stayed in the box the whole time. And then by Friday, you was I'm telling you, James, by Friday you felt strong. Like you felt super strong. Um, it was crazy, and it was like that. It was like you said, like you so sore, but it wasn't the sore like you injured yourself sore. It was like the sore of
Man, I remember you telling stories like you were just
I was asleep. I used to sleep.
you just sleep.
I was asleep. We worked out at 9, and he used to get me in the morning. Do you know how it is to get up to go to a workout and you already hurting before you get like you already sore? I did not want to get up, but I knew he was coming. Like I was like, bro, just don't come get me today. Come and get me. We go. First of all, you go into the gym with the person that's about to kill you in the gym. You like I can't even prepare for this. So we go to the gym. We doing all this workout for 45 minutes, and then I think the workout maybe been like an hour, 30 minutes. Do that. I take a break. I have to come back and do a strength conditioning out, a weight room workout. I'm already spent from the first one, but now I have to. It wasn't like the weight room workout was like, oh, you did that earlier, so this is no. It was a full workout.
Workout.
So I did that. By the time that came, and I had to train the little kids in the afternoon, I would go to sleep on the turf. Do you know how tired you got to be to go to sleep in the middle of a gym? Like you don't even care. I didn't go in no room and go to sleep. I was sleeping on the turf. That's how tired I was in Florida.
Felt
That
great though, right?
Oh no, I definitely you push yourself to the limit. Like it's one of them like battles you do with yourself mentally where every day you know it's about to be painful. Every day, you gotta almost even if you're not a quitter, it push you though. It push you to the point where like I think last time I was out there for 2 weeks, I wanna say, you can't wait for the 2 weeks to be up almost because you just like this is, you're like, man, this is killing me, man. You like, this is, but when I would get back to school and it was time to do preseason workout, James, oh my God. When we used to run 17s is you go sideline to sideline. You got to do it 17 times in like a minute. I'm not even tired. I'm talking about I'm making it with like 8 seconds, and I'm not even full up. My body was just so used to operating at that pace, and I had so much endurance. I had so much muscle strength. I was good. Like I never was. And even if I did, it may have been 1 second. I was like, all right, I'm good. Like I was like, I'm not tired. This is nothing compared to what I do in the summer. In the summer, when then Coach Troy was down this way, I used to wake up early in the morning. I used to go to hot yoga every morning. I used to go to hot yoga. And then after that, I would go to Coach Troy for like we used to do like an hour or two. We used to we'd be in a no, not an hour or two, 2 hours. We'd be in the weight room. We used to work out in the sand pits. And then after that, I would come home, chill, shower, eat. Then I would go to the gym with Coach V, and then I do that workout. And then I would do the same thing every single day.
But it was
And
simple. It goes back to your point about keeping it simple.
keep it simple. I do the same thing every single day. Just that was my schedule. And then I got to the point where this, and it's like you almost got to kind of go there a little bit. So I know what Kobe talked about with the mom mentality. Then on the weekends, I don't know if you remember this when I was in college. I started to go to Dale State on the weekends because that was the only gym I could get into that was open. So, because you know,
Mm.
you got apartments on campus, I would drive up on the weekends at Dale State. So Saturday and Sunday I was working out in basketball. Then I would come back down and start my week again. Because I didn't want to not work out on the weekends. Like I didn't think I had that luxury with my coach, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna go up there get some work in, work out with my teammates or my roommate, who was my teammate. We would work out. Um, that way, I knew I wasn't putting on, no unnecessary weight on the weekends. I wasn't eating bad or anything like that. I was, I would go up there, work out. We in the gym for like 2 hours Saturday, 2 hours Sunday. Come back home, do it all again. That was my schedule.
You know, there's this book back there, Underline, by Jocko Willink. It says, "Discipline equals freedom," and it's so true. Discipline equals freedom. Like that was probably the most free you've ever been. You know, when people are like trying to be free, like they
Hmm.
don't want any responsibility, they just want to do whatever they want to do. They don't realize that they're actually trapped. But when you are totally disciplined, it may not be easy, but when you know that you control your mind and you're willing to put yourself through the hard thing,
Hmm.
like there's a difference between going through something hard and putting yourself through the hard thing. Like choosing, like I'm gonna choose. Like that's why I have so much respect for people in the military. Like they're choosing to do something that's just not easy to do, or professional athletes or high level athletes or whatever. Like, that's why, I said, man, the money that people talk about, the money that this person makes, that person makes, they just have a level of discipline that, like, they just have, it's a totally different, like, how many people be willing to put themselves through what you put yourself through? Like, and just, you weren't being paid, there's no NIL deal, there was, you know what I mean? Like, you're just doing it just because you love playing basketball.
Yeah.
The more disciplined you are, the more free you are. It just is not. It's not how people think about it, because everything just kind of flows when you're disciplined. Like your life just has a flow. It's a beautiful flow. Like if I don't work out, if I don't do something physical, you just start to look at yourself weird. You know what I mean? Like you just don't feel good about yourself. You don't. You know you should be doing something, but you're not doing it, and there's all that stuff, and you're like trapped in your thoughts. But when you do what you know you have to do, even though you don't want to do it, you feel free. That's what you're talking about. And I remember talking to you, and you were, suffering but happy.
I was happy. I don't
I
remember.
mean, you know what I mean.
I don't remember that part, man. I remember I was suffering for sure. But
But I
it
remember when you came. When you came back. I remember when you came back though.
made sense when I remember senior night hit me, and 'cause I think my mom came up with the kids to
Yeah.
was saying, and it hit me all in that moment what it was for. Like because I still I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like it was almost like you. it felt like I was going back and like it felt like I took notes for a test or something. And it felt like you didn't pass the test, but you're going back and you're like, but I did. It said do A B C D E F G H I J K L M N P. It said do all these steps. It's like I did all these steps. I didn't get like it didn't do what I was taught it was supposed to do. And I think I remember senior night it hit me where I was just like, that was the test. Like that's I was just like that was the test. Like and it was 4 years of man, but I just knew. I was like, yeah, that was the it hit me. It was like, yo, that was the test. It wasn't meant for it to go the way that you wanted it to go. Even though like the more it I'm not gonna say the more it wasn't, I just kept doubling back down. No, I'm like, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna work harder. So of course part of when it didn't go the way I wanted it to, that's a tough pill. Like that's a super tough pill, right? Where I mean, sometimes you might see some people who put a tenth of the effort in, and they getting all types of stuff, you know. So it definitely was a tough pill to swallow. But I remember that day in particular, it hit me like that was the test because you got that now. You got that lesson. You got that. That's a part of your DNA to be able to go to that mode or whatever, whatever. So it's there. Um, and the test was for you to get to the end of it. Like just when you get to the end of it, that it felt like a monkey off my shoulders getting to the end of it, and that's how I know. Like it didn't feel like nothing was lost, even though sometimes you had those feelings, but it felt like a monkey was off your chest, and you was like, oh, I feel free, like I passed something, like I did something I was supposed to do.
Yeah, but you just said it. You just said if I basically you just said if I ever need to go there, like you now know where you can go.
Yeah, it's a
You know
part
what
of
I mean? Right? Like whether it's real estate, whether it's just life, like, just whatever, like you know where you can go. You know how far you can go
yeah,
because you've pushed yourself to and that's why isn't it interesting that so many really successful CEOs are like great athletes and
yeah,
because they know how far they know they're going to push themselves beyond the next person. They already know that like they know there's no way you can hang with me long. You may be running with me right now for like the first 2 miles, but I'm not going to see you at mile 30.
yeah.
I'm not seeing you at mile. I'm not probably not going to see you at mile 10.
Are you sure they even think about the other person? Though? Some may.
That's true. That's
I,
true.
I, I don't. What
That's true.
Perdue. That's one of my mentors. Ever say so. Perdue. I mean, one time he asked me. I can't remember how he asked me, so I'll just say paraphrasing. It was pretty much asked me about like kind of my mentality, and I never thought about it, but it went back to all of those moments where I'm like, bro, I only know one way. I'm like, I only know one way, and the way I know is to just go crazy about the thing, just to upset. You remember that I used to
Oh
sleep
yeah.
basketball in the bed,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
like
I remember.
right, like I only know like
You were. I don't know what you were.
my mind is wired like that. It's like
100%.
no one way.
100%.
I know who my mom is, so like I only know one way to
Yeah.
go. But even when I attack real estate, to your point, I literally just think, all right, I'm willing to go further than anybody. That's just how I am. Like when I take it to basketball, I remember this happened. This is before, so this is after like the coach had cut me or whatever. My freshman year at Dell State. So I used to always work out. Well, this might have been before that. I used to always work out. I go to track, work out. I have my bungee cords, work out, do my thing. Like I'm getting in shape for whatever opportunity coming my way. And I remember one day, shout out Big Scott. That was one of my teammates, Scott Seal. He came out there. He was getting extra work in. It's nighttime, and it's the fall, so the weather's nice. And I remember I finished my workout, and he started his, and he ran a lap. He ran. He didn't even know I had seen him. He once he ran the bleachers, I started running the bleachers. He not even knowing because a lot of people said I didn't stop until he finished his workout. So I was already done my original workout. But when I seen him come out there and work out, my mind just went into that like that mode where I'm like, I have to get an advantage. Like to me, it just how it was wired. I was like, I gotta get my advantage. So he's running like, man, I don't feel like running these steps no more, man. I was tired of running the steps. But my mind, I was like, no, because I knew if the moment came and it was time for me to get my opportunity, as you know, things happen. I needed something to lean back on. And those would be the things you talk to yourself about in your head. Like, but now you remember this, remember you put that extra work and you got it. You'll be able to reference those things. So when I hopped into real estate, it was the same thing, and it just happened out of habit. Where it was nothing for me to go to Chicago one day and come back in the same day. It was nothing for me to get on the phone with P and say, I just want to, yo, let me, you the realtor of the year in the whole Chicago. Hey, I'm about to shadow you the whole day. I just want to suit you the whole day. I just want to go probably with you. Nobody never asked or nothing like that. But for me, that's how my mind went because it's like I have to navigate this different. I'm not used to nobody giving me anything. I'm not used to somebody saying, "Here's a red carpet." I'm not used to any of that. So I'm like, I gotta figure out my way, and I gotta go further than anybody else. If they say, this is what we doing, we gonna show y'all 10 properties. I might be dead tired. Yo, let me see 5 more. Let me see 5 more. Everybody coming in on Friday. Hey, I'm gonna come in on Wednesday because I need that extra work. That's just what I was used to. So that's what I said. Now I can go there because I'm used to going there. I'm used to that. That's all I know. All I know is that kind of thing. So that's how I just attack everything. Just
Attack. There's the word. Attack everything.
yeah, you just
That's the
attack.
word. No, that's the word right there.
Or
Attack everything.
yeah,
Attack everything.
I like that one. That's what
If you actually took time to learn about how incredible you were, nothing would ever stop you. See, the definition of sight is the faculty or power of seeing.